There's nothing left to say now, so I'll be on my way now, and I'll be moving way up, way up, way up, out of your way.
Welcome back, beautiful people, to a new video. Today, I'm gonna talk about something, man. The biggest red flag that you can possibly notice. Let's go. If someone that you just met, whether that be a friend or someone that you're trying to date, if that someone identifies themselves as a so-called free spirit, run. That is the absolute worst type of person you could potentially encounter in your life. When people tell you that they are free spirits, what they are really telling you is this: I am incredibly selfish. I don't care about rules, the right thing to do. I don't really care about things that I might have told you or agreements that we may have made. I am very prone to cancel any type of plans last minute. And if you try to confront me because of that, and if you try to hold me accountable, I will just tell you, hey man, I'm a free spirit. I am floating on the wings and the flows and the energy of the universe, and I cannot be held accountable for anything because I'm so incredibly spiritual that I have transcended normal human behavior, which basically means that I'm gonna do whatever the hell I feel like doing in that moment. I used to date a free spirit, all right? And I'm going to take you guys back about, might be 2 years, might be 3 years, man. I lose track of time. It doesn't really matter. So this free spirit, when I first met her, I was enticed. I loved all the little spiritual sides of her, you know. We could be walking, just like walking down the street or walking in the park, and she would stop walking and say, hold on, wait. And she would pick up a rock, a random ugly-ass rock, and she would look at it as if we had just found some type of magical crystal handed to us by the gods themselves. And she would look at me and say, look at this rock, Lorenz. Don't you see how special it is? Don't you see how unique it is? I think this is my new favorite rock. And initially, I would be like, what the hell is she talking about? But I liked it. It was different. It was new. So what did I do? I indulged, man. I indulged in the banquet of free spirituality. I loved it. It was new to me. And the main thing that I felt like she was a very positive person. I didn't care so much about, what she liked to call it. All that I could see was like, look, this is an optimist, and she's easy to please. I don't even have to take her to a fancy restaurant. I just gotta take her to a place where they have a lot of rocks, and I'll be good, right? So I was with it. I liked it. I like people that can show me something new. And to be entirely fair, because I'm not gonna be bashing on her the entire video, she actually did teach me some things, and she did show me some new perspectives. But in general, what I found was that it was just impossible to establish rational parameters in terms of expectations, agreements, and just overall planning. Everything that we would do would always be dependent on her emotional state, which would literally fluctuate by the hour, if not by the minute. It just became so incredibly exhausting to try and keep up with it. And really, the best way to put it, it was like trying to build a house on quicksand. There was never a strong, solid foundation because you would never know how she would feel in the next day or even in the next moment. Now, all of this said, I put up with it for quite some time, as I always like to focus on the positive with everything in life. The turning point for me was this. So, she was a vegetarian, and one night, we had planned a special dinner at my place. I was gonna cook for her. Now, at that time, I wasn't really into cooking yet the way I am now, so that was kind of like a big thing, right? So I told her, look, I'll meet you at 7 at my spot. I'm gonna cook you this grand vegetarian dinner. And at the time, I was living in Barcelona. Now, for those who don't know, Barcelona is in Spain, and in Spain, generally, if you try to order the vegetarian dish, they'll just give you fish with salad. That's their idea of being a vegetarian. Obviously, I'm exaggerating. Don't kill me, Spanish people. Tranquilo. But really, though, it is a very neat and carb-oriented diet that Spanish people like to have. So the point I'm trying to make is, it's not that easy finding high-quality vegetarian products. Like good tofu that's actually tasty. So your boy went above and beyond, man. I spent a good 2 hours running around town, going to all the special vegetarian spots, going to all the vegan spots, getting the best stuff. So I'm ready. I spent about another hour and a half preparing everything. I had the tofu, I had all the weird things. I was with it. So at 6:45, I get a text. Hey, babe, I'm on the way. About to take my bike. I'll be there in 20. Right on time. And I remember thinking, wow, I feel like she's heading, or we are heading in the right direction. This is really nice. We made a plan. We're sticking to it, and she'll be here soon. So then, 7 rolls around, 7:15, 7:30. I'm sitting there like, all right, probably had a flat tire. 7:35, 8, 8:15. By this time, I had already called. I tried to call her, like, what's going on? No one picked up. 8:30, 9, I'm texting, I'm calling, I'm panicking, man. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, something must have happened. I'm freaking the F out. 9, 10, 11, so I literally ended up basically sitting there, not eating and waiting until about midnight. Yes, you can call me a sucker, I deserve it, it's all good, man. And, I remember my emotions at the time were mainly fear and anxiety, because I was convinced that something terrible had happened. I was just waiting on any type of news from her side to let me know she was all right. And I'll never forget, it was about 12:30 in the morning, and I go on Instagram again, as I had probably been doing for the past, 6 hours, scrolling the gram, because that's what I used to do in those days. And she had posted an Instagram story. And I'm like, what? Oh, okay, what? This cannot be. It must be the kidnappers. The kidnappers that dragged her from her bike and took her into their van back to their evil lair have posted their demands on her Instagram story using her phone. For sure, it's going to be a ransom note, right? So I go to obviously open the Instagram story. And it was a picture of a page in a book. It was a poem. It was a poem, as she loved poetry, being a free soul. So it was just her sharing a beautiful poem with the rest of the world, as it had undoubtedly touched her inner core and left a big impression. And that's when I knew. That's when I realized, and I can't really remember ever feeling quite that stupid. I went back to my WhatsApp and I just texted her like, I'm just, I cannot believe, you've ignored my past 10 calls, my 20 messages, but obviously you're fine as you are posting Instagram stories. And it all went through. It got 2 little checks. So she read it, did not reply. And it didn't really matter to me at that point. I had made up my mind, and I went to bed. I don't think I even ate that night. And you guys know I'm a big eater. I just lost my entire appetite. And the next morning, around maybe like 3 in the afternoon, I got like a 15-minute voice message from her on WhatsApp, basically her begging for forgiveness and explaining the situation. And I just kept listening to the explanation. And basically the explanation was that at one point in that 20-minute ride from her house to mine, she had started feeling very bad, a very intense, deep pain. Something had thrown her off. I think it was Saturn that was very close to Venus that day, so they were all aligned with the moon. So the energy that was transmitted, through the interstellar system caused her to not be able to show up to our dinner date and just leave me with all the stuff by myself. And that is just one story. That is not the only free spirit that I've encountered in my life. There is one constant that I've noticed with all of the free spirits that I've encountered, is that generally they just lack accountability. They don't like rules, which is that's fine. Like I'm not trying to be a Nazi, be like, these are the rules. You guys know, like, that's not me. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot to be said about decency and respect for one another, especially people that you supposedly hold dear. And that's just one thing that I learned in my 31 years. When someone tells me that they're a free spirit, I immediately kind of like tend to keep my distance. They are the most fun people you can be around. When things are good, they are absolutely great. They are euphoric. It's like, it's the best type of life you can have. But it's not something that's sustainable for them. They tend to go up and down, up and down. It's a roller coaster. And even though you might not be a so-called free spirit, if you are, if you're getting close to these type of people, you will find yourself on that same roller coaster. And it can be very draining. It can be very frustrating. And what I basically decided to do was, instead of me getting angry and mad and yelling at them and whatever, I just decided that it would be best for me to keep distance from those type of people. I'm not knocking spirituality. I'm not knocking open-mindedness. Anyone that knows me knows I'm all about that stuff. I love it. But balance is key. And I feel like a lot of people right now in this new generation have just gotten so incredibly selfish and are just using these terms and these philosophical, labels to get away with a bunch of things that are not okay. And I don't care who you are. I don't care how well you mean. I don't care how positive you are in your heart and how much love you have to share with this world. If you don't plan on treating people the right way, if you plan on disappointing people and letting people down, and I'm not talking about in general, I'm talking about you actually committing to a plan, committing to an activity, and then just refusing to communicate about why you're not attending, why you're flaking last minute, you just turning off your phone entirely and being like, I don't care. That just makes you a selfish prick. It doesn't make you a better person. You're not more enlightened. If anything, it just means you're childish instead of as evolved and mature as you would like yourself to be. And that's it. Damn, that sounds kind of bitter, huh? And this happened over 2 years ago. But still, when I tell the story, I still get kind of upset, because it was such a blatant type of disrespect. All that I needed, all that I required was one text, not even a phone call, one text. Hey, I'm okay not gonna make it. Something came up, something happened, whatever. That would have been fine. That's the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment. Have you ever been in encounters like these? Have you encountered free spirits? Has it turned out positive? Has it turned out negative? Let me know. I'll be back real soon with more new videos real soon. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you still have not hit that subscribe button, man. Stop playing with me. It's your boy Benzo. Checking out. Oh yeah, and leave a thumbs up and leave a comment, yada yada yada. That typical YouTube stuff. I love you guys. Bye bye. Ciao.